How do you store your drill bits? Do you store them in a big pile like this in some old toolbox? Do you use a drill index like this one? Or do you just have them in a toolbox drawer like this? If you're storing them like this, you know what a pain in the butt it can be trying to read the names or numbers on every bit and try to figure out what bit you need. So a lot of times we use these, but what if you have a bit that's missing in here? Where do you get the bit to replace it? And what if you have multiples of every size and you want to keep those multiples all in one spot? My friends at Vevor helped me out on this. So Vevor sent me this Drill Bit Dispenser Cabinet. This is something I was gonna buy on my own, and Vevor had sent it to me upon my request. This is the first thing that I ever actually asked Vevor to send me. And they said, well, all right, we'll send you one. So we're gonna use this to store my drill bits. First, let's get a weight on it. Meet my Pelosi scale. Let's set this thing down. This is actually a pretty heavy package. And we're looking at just about 57, 58 pounds, including the box. How many kilograms is 58 pounds?
Is approximately 26.31 kilogram.
So there you have it. And in the box, we have 3 individual boxes. Make no mistake about it, this is a heavy package, and it seems that the items bolted to my bench are a little bit cumbersome. All right. Oh! So it seems that FedEx does not take it easy on their packages, and that would explain why they put these boxes in that big box. Because if you didn't pay attention when I was unboxing that big box, the big box was pretty well beat up. And you can see these actually look pretty respectable. I love this freaking knife. Now legal in the state of Pennsylvania. So, looks like we have some bumper pads to go under it to keep it from rattling. Got a little manual. You have some blank labels on a piece of paper. And from what I'm told, these are already labeled for drill bits. These are not limited to use on only drill bits. So let's see what we got inside here. I guess you could keep taps in these. You could keep a little bit of everything. I like these little high-density foam rubber corner protectors. They actually look like, I don't know, you might have another use for them if you're like me and you hoard things and you never throw it away. These are actually nice boxes, too. I found that the older I get, the more that I have this fixation for boxes, and I tend to save them, and they tend to clutter, but that's a whole other thing. So, initial impressions, this thing seems to be built like a tank. This would be your numerical sizes. They are labeled as mentioned. Now, these labels, I'm almost thinking that to get some kind of a heavy-duty clear tape to protect what's under here. The drawers seem like they're pretty smooth. I do like that there's no holes or anything for tiny drill bits to get through. I don't know if you can see this or not, but these are very... I'm very impressed with the build quality. They seem like the type of slides that you would get with your regular toolboxes. So yeah, it looks like you take this little lever that's sticking up here. See how it moves? And you got to push it all the way to the rail. You get that side started. You do the exact same thing, only downward on the opposite side. And now you can remove your drawer. So the drawers are exceptionally well made. You can see that I mean, there's just a minute pinhole in this bottom corner. No drill bit is going to get through that. Slides look like they were very deliberately placed. Very impressive looking. Everything's nice and tight, no rattles. Everything's nice and clearly marked. And on top, it proudly boasts the Vevor name. Tough tools, half price. Literally. All right, let's open the other ones and see what we got here. So this is your fractional size organizer, built to the same quality as the first one we looked at. Now, you notice the first one had 5 drawers. This one only has 3. Because we're getting into some bigger bits. The fractional ones will go all the way up to 1/2 inch, and they start down at a 1/16 of an inch. Like I said, same build quality as the other one. You might comment that, well, the Vevor name is kind of... well, it just like flips off like that. The reason for that is look how nice and clean it came off the surface there. There's like no mark from it whatsoever. And that is so that these can stack on top of each other. And myself, I want to actually mount these together. So I'm going to look into some options. So our third and final box is the letter size drill bits. Does anyone know why they have letter, number, and fractional sizes? Okay, a fun little factoid about these drill sizes. As you know, as we already talked, we have letter sizes, number sizes, and fractional sizes. Do you know why that is? Well, they wanted to come up with in-between sizes in the interest of machinists and watchmakers. So, of course, the fractional sizes, there's only a finite number of bits, and they need the ones that go in between sizes for gnat's eyelash type tolerances. So they came up with the letter and number sizes. I don't know if you knew that or not. Let me know in the comments if you did or didn't. And also, while you're down there, click the subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. What country are you watching from? I'm kind of curious. So I'm going to go over the measurements of each cabinet. These are all, the exterior dimensions of all 3 of these drill bit organizers are the same. So starting with the actual length, we are looking at about 14 3/4 inches long, or 37.5 centimeters. And the depth of the cabinets are about 7 3/4 or 20 centimeters. And the height of each cabinet is about 8 inches or 22, 23 centimeters. And they should all be the same. Now, the drawers, you can insert up to a 7-inch long drill bit or 18 centimeters. The depth of the skinniest drawers is about 1.5 inches or about 3 3/4 centimeters. And then you have these deeper drawers. They are roughly 2 1/4, 2 3/8 inches or 6 centimeters deep. And that there might be some in-between sizes in here. I'm not going to go over all of them and bore you, but that's kind of the spread on the dimensions of the interiors of the drawers. And of course, on the larger bits, they're going to get a little bit wider because the whole basis of using this thing is going to be to store bulk drill bits. So if you're storing more larger drill bits, you're going to need more space. More space equals wider partitions and deeper partitions, which explains the different dimensions of the drawers. The drawers, a 20 won't quite fit on, but a 19 will. I'm going to call this 19 gauge sheet metal, which must be there's probably a millimetric equivalent to this over, where these are made. So, but roughly 19 gauge, slightly over 20. The 20 fits kind of, you could probably force it on there, but you're going to scratch the paint to get it. I can give it to you in thousandths, which is roughly 0.0437 on the thousandth scale. And that's what the entirety of this is made out of. So it's pretty heavy duty. And the finish is kind of a nice hammer finish paint. Pretty nice. The paint quality is super on this. I mean, when you look at every panel, there's like, the paint feels durable. The quality feels really high on this. So I was looking for some ideas on how we could get these things coupled together, like to stack them and have them mounted to each other without actually doing any physical damage to the front, back, sides, bottom, whatever of these units. And I mean, there's a number of ways you can do this. You could drill through them. You could stack them on top of each other like this, and you could put a nut and a bolt on it. Or you could turn it around. You could fasten a piece of sheet metal, maybe pop rivet it to the back plane. You could build a shelf directly over the top one if it's against like a wall or something. And that would keep them from, because it's got to rise before it can tip, right? So here's an idea that I came up with, though. I got these super long ass hose clamps, and this guy here is for a 20-inch diameter pipe, and it measures about 64 inches long. Now these things will couple together, and this one here is for a 6-inch pipe. And what my idea is, if I add these together, the perimeter, like by just like screwing like that, just to give this 16 more inches, that gives me 80 inches, which is more than plenty to go around our cabinets. And it may scratch the corners a little bit where it goes over, but if you get them in one spot, like say right across the middle, or even one side or the other from middle, they're not going anywhere if you get this tight enough. Now, like I said, it's going to scuff the paint a little bit if we use that method, but that's actually what I'm thinking about doing. Let me know what you think in the comments. So I'm going to put a few of these bits in these drawers, and I'll show you how they look in the drawers, I guess. Of course, this bit isn't going to go in any of these drawers because it's over a 1/2 inch. You got to remember that these are going to max out at a 1/2 inch. So this isn't going to go in. This one surely isn't going to go in. And aside from that, these are actually too long anyhow to go in. But I'll just set them off to the side for now. And those will probably go right back in this box along with the other ones. So you kind of get the gist of it. I still have some to go through yet, but what I found is that some of these are metric bits that I have in here too, so I'm going to get an approximation what drawer they go in, and when I'm hunting for something precise, I'm either going to go to my big drill index that I already have everything down like to the exact size, or I'm going to hunt through these bits and I'm going to do like I would normally do and just grab one, you know, that's close to what I want. And I have these pretty accurate mics here that I can use to get what I need if it has to be that precise. Usually they don't. So, you know, yeah, it depends what you're doing, you know. I mean, yeah, if you're porting out like a valve body on a transmission or something like that, you're going to want things that are extremely accurate. But if you're doing just general run-of-the-mill work around the house and you need to drill a hole in some wood or something, you just grab something that's close. And that's what I'm doing right now, is getting them close to the numbers that are on the drawer. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about what I like and don't like about the Vevor 3-piece drill bit dispenser. I'll start with what I found that I didn't like as much. And A lot of that is just kind of nitpicky, but the labeling on the drawers I thought could have been protected with some kind of a clear plastic, which I plan on either putting some kind of a clear tape over them or making like a plastic piece that goes around the handle itself. I thought that they could have drilled some holes where you could bolt all three pieces together, or have the means on the back side to make like some keyhole mounts that you could mount it to the wall. It wouldn't have took that much more to make. And I mean, like I said, it's nitpicky stuff, but that's about all for what I don't like. As for what I do like about it, there's all kinds of stuff. The drawers are plenty deep enough for very many bits of each size. These lower drawers, they latch, as I said earlier. And look how deep these are, and look how nice the paint is in it. And that's the other thing, too. It's almost like a hammer finish, wrinkle finish powder coat, I'm guessing. It feels pretty durable. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel mass-produced. 20-gauge construction, or at least the metric equivalent of it, I think these are built to last. I like that there's letter, number, and fractional size bit storage, and I think it'll work for many years, probably for the rest of my life, to, keep my bits easy to find when I need them so I can be more productive. Be sure to visit my Amazon store, which really helps this channel improve future content just by visiting before you buy anything. Be sure to check this video's description for possible discount codes from Vevor. If you buy from the links in this video, it helps this channel a lot, and I will be forever grateful to you for doing so. I'd like to thank Vevor for sending me this beautiful drill bit organizer and making this video happen. Be sure to click that like button and consider subscribing if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.